I think that everything you do, whether it's an offer, whether it's your brand, whether it's a video, whether it's a sales call, or anything that you're doing, should have that sort of like hook factor in it. Like if I'm meeting someone, there's gonna be some sort of hook. If I'm putting a video out, there's gonna be some sort of hook. If I have an offer, I want people to be like, what did you just say? I mean, similar to like you're asking me about my offer on the podcast. I don't even come onto podcasts and talk about my offer and try to sling stuff. Like I just want to be like as big of a value driver and asset as I possibly can be on each podcast that I go on. But like I'll touch on the offer from a sense of like having the offer that has a hook on it. It's just like wait, it makes people go, whoa, like what do you mean? So if I say I can get 6 months worth of content in 2 days of hanging out, that's something I know I can fill on. Of course, it's not going to be that easy, but it was driven from the fact of like I want to do something completely different than what other people are doing in the market. I'm in social media content space and the digital marketing space, which as we know is super saturated. But I honestly think that saturated markets are good to be a part of because when something's saturated, there's a lot of like bogus players in there. Like I clean up a lot of business from people who have worked with other agencies in the past and they're like burned before. And I'm like, okay, I mean, do we give off the same vibes? I hope not. If yes, I mean, we can work through that. But then those are some of the most loyal long-term customers that give the best businesses, like the ones who've been burned before. So I wanted to have an offer that stands out in an industry that's like pretty saturated and something that had a hook on it too. And something that I'm really passionate about.
The offer that's working for us right now to cold outbound, and we're running this mostly to PR firms at the moment, is we'll get you 2 to 3 new clients per month guaranteed, or you don't pay. Yeah, we took that approach for a couple reasons. I had calls, so I had like so many calls I took with PR firms. I took all of those calls and I just threw it into Claude. I was like, okay, give me the data. What are their pain points, desires? What kind of value prop would resonate with them, and everything like that. I found that on each and every one of those calls, they just needed 2 to 3 clients per month. So I threw that in as the outcome. The second thing I found is that they've worked with a lot of lead gen agencies, and they've gotten to a point, or like this is like market sophistication, where saying that you're going to get them 20 calls per month doesn't really matter to them anymore. What they actually care about is sales, which is why we guaranteed clients specifically. On top of that, they've been burned a ton. So like that's also like what my AI was telling me. It's like these people have been burned by agencies 24/7. So then we had to throw in a guarantee as some form of risk reversal. And then even just positioning it as done for you because these people don't have time to do their own outreach. I would say like that's the offer we have, and then also like that's the process we took.
I did customer service, I did sales, I was able to talk shop. But even after being there for multiple years, I couldn't build a website. I couldn't tell you how to do back end SEO optimization. There was a lot from the marketing side. I couldn't do graphic design. I couldn't do anything. And so I really am a byproduct of not only that experience from the customer facing side and how that works, but I'm a byproduct of YouTube University, man. Just going and figuring it out. I had a conversation with my mother-in-law, who owned multiple businesses, very business minded, and was a shock to my system when I met them because I was never that was not something that was a part of my life. And something that she talked to me, she said this off of the cuff, was saying, one of the things that truly helps make leaders and makes business owners successful is their ability to be resourceful. To when they have something that they've just if they whatever it is that they have, they can take it and then make the most of it and take it to a new level. And I remember in that moment going, man, I'm not that. I'm not resourceful. And so as I started Rally Point, it was basically like, hey, can you build a website? Absolutely. With no idea how to do it. But with the idea of going, I'm going to provide and take care of my family. I'm going to find a way. And it was weird because it was just a lot of yes and doing whatever it takes, long nights, 60, 80-hour work weeks to do whatever it took. And it was a humbling moment because, you fast forward to then having employees and team members underneath you and being able to delegate after doing it all and going, wow, because of my body of work for the last 3 years, we now do everything, anything from a digital marketing standpoint, we do. And it all started from being like, okay, I can now say that I'm resourceful. And so that's the beauty of, I think the digital marketing space is if you have the grit, you're not stupid, and you can actually figure it out. You can be resourceful to build something incredible.
Yeah.
So going into it, I really didn't have anything compared to what I have now, which is it's a humbling thing to say.
When I first had the offer, I flew to Colombia in January of 2024 because I had a client out there that wanted to get his content for 6 months in a couple of days. I had a 3-day trip to Colombia planned. I'd never been out of the United States before. It was supposed to be a 3-day trip. I fly in, go to Colombia. Me and the client clicked really well. He's like, bro, I have 2 extra bedrooms inside of my penthouse here. Like, if you want to stay for longer, I was like, I'm down. I love Colombia. I'm living like a king here. Like the dollar to Colombian peso ratio was crazy. And we went to networking events, and that's like what gave me the bug of like international networking. Like I was like, oh my God, like this dude's from UK, this dude's from Australia, this dude's actually from Colombia. What? Like I downloaded WhatsApp onto my phone for the first time. It was like crazy. And this as a 21-year-old kid that hadn't been out of the United States before. So that was like the offer allowed me to do that. It allowed me to go put myself out there in different places. I mean, the offers brought me into rooms with powerful politicians and stuff, like working with different people. And the 6 months worth of content, it's like, it's not just your social media content, but it's like the marketing content as well. Because if I'm not there to coach through like, whether it's a VSL, a landing page video, an intro for a YouTube video, or even social media content, it's not going to have the same amount of impact. So I wanted to have an offer where I was like, I had the most control over the outcome possible. I could be like, bro, don't do this, and I'll say that again. We're filming this video. I've already like written out all the content. We're going to New York City over the next couple of months. I'm planning out a trip similar to this with a client of mine who's IPO'd 4 companies. And we're
Wow.
gonna put, dude, crazy, like unreal. And we're gonna be filming 6 months worth of content for him in just a couple of days. So we'll go out to like Wall Street by the Bull in New York City. We'll set up shop in Central Park with like the 1% or 10, all that stuff. So it really just it gets you out there, gives me loads of experience, which is like what I'm investing into the most right now. It's just experience. Because when people say like, oh, invest into yourself, can mean a lot of different things. For me, that just means like I just want to get as much XP as possible and like level up my character as quick as I can. And you have more data points to pull from so that you can get better information. So I know that's yet another long-winded answer to your question, but that's like the high ticket offer that we have. Of course, like any good agency, we have a nice value ladder. We have a free school community, paid school community, done for you services, and then our 6 months of content in 2 days offer, which is the most fun in my opinion.
Yeah, but you were like, I mean, you read a lot, right? Your background in your office, I've seen that it's a stack of books, like a lot of books, and they're all business books, personal development books. And so, all of this doesn't come out of your head. You're actually really ambitious into, we'll get into what you're ambitious about and your goals and stuff, but was your offer strategical at all? Because, one of the contexts to developing an offer is that you need to have a hook. It needs to be interesting. It needs to touch on pain points and desires, right? And so when it comes to content, nobody wants to record content all day, right? They want to like record and be done for a while, and then it's going to be posted like every single day without me having to do work, because you're usually dealing with busy people that don't have, So was that strategical at all in terms of like, hey, in 2 days, I'll get 6 months worth of content and bam.
Absolutely. I mean, I like any good offer, like you're saying, I think offers is one of the hardest things to think through as like a fresh business owner. If you're like crafting an offer, to me, it was one of the hardest things at first. But the thought process that helped me land on this was like, who do I want to serve? Like who is not being served right now that I could come in and serve at a really, really high level? And to me, that was like millionaire, even sometimes billionaire business owners that like had nothing in terms of content so far, and that I could come out and just be like, hey bro, like 2 days, we'll get 6 months worth of stuff. You'll never have to think about this again. And I wanted to come in as like that young Gen Z guy that understood content, that could take them to the next level, that could coach them through something that they didn't know. And I thought it was like a really, really interesting like field to go into that was perfect, because this was a source of value. And this is something for everybody listening in that's trying to craft an offer. What's the source of value that you could bring that the high level people don't have? For me, like a lot of these guys don't have social media. It's the one thing I'm good at. So if I could come in and bring the one thing that I'm good at that's the missing piece to like these guys have built a huge puzzle, but it's missing just a couple pieces, and I can come in and be one of those pieces. Oh, that's beautiful. Because it's the one thing I know how to do, and I've learned so much from these guys that I hang out with and like do content for. I sit there, I shut the hell up, and if it's not about scripting out the content or the VSL or how the lighting should go, like I'm not talking, I'm listening and I'm asking questions. So I would say for anyone listening in, especially the younger audience, what can you do to get experience and to get around the right people? And if that means not making as much money at first, like the dude I went to Colombia for to launch the offer, I did that for free, bro. Like I bought my flights. Wow. I brought a videographer out there with me that I paid for. I paid for my own food. I paid for my own room board. I paid for everything. I paid for the content to get edited. I paid for the social media manager to go onto his account. I paid for everything. But that opened up a massive door for me that changed my life forever.
When I was younger, I used to game a lot, hang out with not the best people. But like I would say what made that change, I would say what happened was the pain of staying the same got greater than the pain of staying the same. If that makes sense. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like it was just more painful to just stay within those horrible environments than just change. So like just naturally I just got to a point where like I just literally cut everyone off. Literally everyone. Spoke to no one. And then only surround myself with just higher level people.
Chamber of Commerce, different networking groups were huge to help get it off the ground, because you pay a couple $1,000 in those for the year, and if you're willing to put in the time to shake hands again and again, opportunities will come. And so that's initially, because again, I knew that was one of the big hurdles for my business, is fear of ads. As crazy as that sounds, most marketing companies are scared of ads because there's a lot of things that they can control in the other items. But I knew I could rely on my sales experience and my ability to network to really help grow that. And that probably sustained me for about 2 years when I started, until outside networking and word of mouth really was able to sustain the business for a few years.
It's definitely been a fun one. I feel like just going out there, putting yourself out there and failing forward are like the biggest possible drivers for success. So many people, they'd be like, dude, like I don't have my passion. I'm not as into what I do as you are. I'm like, bro, I tried tons of different things before landing on this, and just like, failing face first, falling over, failing over and over again. And then like you finally land on something that you like. So it's definitely been a fun journey. I didn't take the traditional young entrepreneur route. I actually went to college for 2 years. I had a Division I scholarship to play volleyball at Long Island University and played on the pro beach volleyball circuit in the AVP for 2 years, which was super fun. And then I was just like, bro, this isn't for me anymore. Like I started, growing a little bit, working with other agencies as a sales rep, growing my brand, growing online. And I was like, bro, if I could only just spend all of my time on this and doing nothing else and not focus on school or not focus on sports, like, man, we'd be able to do some cool stuff. And so dropped out in May of 2023 as a sophomore after 2 years with perfect grades, and started Brand Sharks not too long afterwards. And now it's safe to say we're growing pretty smoothly and have been enjoying every bit of it. So that's the super Cliff Notes version, but it's definitely been a fun ride.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. And I feel like you've done so much in so little time, right? How old are you?
I'm 22.
22 and already crushing it. It's like, what were you doing when you were 16? Like what were the kinds of things you used to do? That's an actual question.
Yeah. I would, it was safe to say that I definitely found the right path with content creation. Cause I started making videos when I was 12. Now they weren't necessarily like social media tips and advice videos like you see on my page right now. It was more like, creating, I'm actually curious, in Brazil, are you familiar with Dude Perfect? Like the trick shot guys?
Yes.
Dude, they're so huge. We were like up next, Dude Perfect. So we were 12, me and the homies in the neighborhood, like making trick shot videos. We just like come home from school. I'd knock on my friends' doors and be like, hey, like, you want to make some trick shot videos outside? They're like, yeah, I'm down. So we would do that. We grew pretty well. We had a few thousand followers across like Instagram, YouTube. TikTok wasn't even out at the time. We had a wiffle ball league, and then I transitioned into making like TikTok skits and like meme videos, and like I could grow accounts like really, really fast. So I was doing a bunch of that, and then put that on pause. Went to college, and then I was like, dude, if there's one thing I know how to do, it's grow a social media account. So I started doing it for myself, doing it for clients, and it's been pretty fun. So to answer your question in a much shorter version than what I just did, I've been making videos forever, and I was doing that when I was 16 as well.
So, okay, so you've been making videos forever, and forever means like 10 years, essentially. Right.
My
You
entire
do a lot of,
conscious life, as far as I can remember.
yeah. And I mean, that's super cool because you started doing that a long time ago, found some success doing that. And so, you're able to do so many things so fast, right? Like you went to school for only 2 years, you dropped out, you're like, I've maximized, I've topped this out, right? You speak super fast, right? And like part of your offer is to get 6 months worth of content in just 2 days of filming. So I feel like that's you completely. I feel like you've been able to find your identity so quick, right? Tell me about your offer. Like, how did you land on that?
Dude, 100%. I want to touch a little bit on, you said like moving very, very quickly. And I think that if you want to live a constant mental war inside of your head, don't make decisions quickly. Like spend a long time thinking about lots of things before actually taking action. If you want to constantly have a corrupt brain inside of your head, spend lots of time thinking about things, because there's people that I'll ask them, like content, for example, like, how long have you been thinking about growing a personal brand? They're like, oh, 2 years. 2 years you've been thinking about it. Imagine if you just failed forward, that's what, 365 times two, that's like 730 days or something like that. You could have tried 730 times. How good would you be at making content? How big would your brand would have gotten if instead of thinking about it, you just said, well, I'm probably not going to be very good at this when I start, but I'm just going to go. And maybe after like post number 100, you find out whether you actually like it and want to do it, or if you don't want to do it. So then you made the decision. But instead, you have this huge weight on your head of like thinking about it for 2 years. Oh, I'm thinking about doing this. So that's been one thing that I'm very happy about, is just the ability to make quick decisions. Because there are friends of mine that were like debating dropping out of college at the same time that I did. Like they were like, oh, I have this mini business. I want to drop out. I want to pursue this. I'm not sure if college is for me. In that 2 years of taking time to make that decision, they now went another $100,000 into debt, staying in college, didn't grow their business. And I've traveled 12 countries, failed at a business, started this business, went to all these different events, launched my personal brand, launched a pot. Like I've done all this stuff in the last 2 years because like just went and tried. Like I'd rather make the decision with more information after trying it and seeing if it's something that I actually want to do. So if there's something like tactical that people can take away from this, like whatever you're thinking about, like just make the choice. Like same thing with sales calls, running a sales call. It's like, dude, I don't need you to buy. Like I just need you to make a decision. Like, is this something you want to do or something you not want to do? Because the one thing I can't deal with, people who can't make decisions. I'm cool if we don't work together, but just make a choice. So, what was the actual question? The offer. Yes.
No, I love that. And, just to add to that, man, I feel like my most successful friends are the ones that move the fastest, right? Like speed to execution is the key word, where you don't debate something for forever, right? Like opportunities past, context change. So whatever is top of mind, you just got to execute. And, whatever the turnout is going to be, at least you've done it, right? And so if it works out, if it doesn't work out, you can always like go back and change things too, right? Depending on like the situation, you can always go back and change. Reflecting a little bit on my successful friends, the most successful are the ones that I'm having a conversation with and talking about something. They're already executing and they already give me feedback by the time I finish talking. Oh, just tried. It works. Let's scale that up.
Yeah, bro. And dude, that's something I respect about you a bunch too, man. We were at Agency Founders. I mean, the first interaction that we had was the first night. So it wasn't even like, just to give some context to the viewers too, of like how the two of us met. This was night one, or like night zero, you could call it. Like it was like the days hadn't even started of the events, and I just pulled up to the Westin where the event was getting hosted at in the lobby. We're about to go to like the first like pre-networking mixer or something. I just got there. You walked up to me. I was there for like 2 minutes before, and then this dude comes up to me with a mic, and he's like, "Yo, you care if I ask you a few questions for an interview?" I'm like, "Wow, like I respect this big time. Like you're gonna go to the event and fucking maximize it." So we're one of the same in the sense of making fast decisions and acting on stuff, man. I got a lot of
I mean, I was just very coachable. Like, I think some people are just way too afraid to ask for help. Versus like I wasn't. I was like, just help me. Like I know I suck. Just show me what to do. I think it was just that coachability and actually like implementing as well. Because like I've coached kids my age. Like my biggest problem with them is like you'll tell them and they just don't do anything. So I think that like with me just being coachable, implementing, and then even showing that, right? Just like how you want to show a client like great results, you have to show the people that are like mentoring you that like, hey, I'm actually doing what you told me and here's the results I'm getting.
Own multiple businesses, very business minded, and was a shock to my system when I met them because I was never that was not something that was a part of my life. And something that she talked to me, she said this off of the cuff, was saying, one of the things that truly helps make leaders, it makes business owners successful, is their ability to be resourceful. To when they have something that they've just if they whatever it is that they have, they can take it and then make the most of it and take it to a new level. And I remember in that moment going, man, I'm not that. I'm not resourceful. And so as I started Rally Point, it was basically like, hey, can you build a website? Absolutely. With no idea how to do it. But with the idea of going, I'm going to provide and take care of my family. I'm going to find a way. And it was weird because it was just a lot of yes and doing whatever it takes, long nights, 60, 80-hour work weeks to do whatever it took. And it was a humbling moment.